Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Microphone of the All right, yeah. I can speak louder. Anyway, here we go. There you go. Now we're ready. Now we're online. Calling to order the Public Works Committee meeting, March the 10th at 5:30. Bernie Flynn, I'm the chair. Lisa Kearns is sitting in for Brian Travis, and we have Brian McGinnis. That's our call to order. We don't have any announcements, do we, Mr. Metrick? Okay, no announcements. All right, next on the agenda is comments, suggestion, petitions by residents, taxpayers, and visitors in the attendance regarding items that are not on the agenda. Please be advised, there is a 5-minute limit, which is at the discretion of the chair or borough council president. Do we have anyone that wants to speak? Please come up, state your name, address, and you have 4 minutes.
Ann Carroll, I will be blessedly brief. 506 South Franklin Street, but I speak today as chairperson of Civic Action Southeast, or CASE. As you all know, we had an incident of a release of material from West Goshen property that impacted the creek, Goose Creek to be specific. I had pictures that I had sent to Bill, but unfortunately I didn't copy them to others. I will make sure that those pictures and video get to you. I fear that sometimes people who do not know and love the creek, as some of us do, think it is just a drainage pit for the borough. And it is not. It is a source for wildlife. It is a source for birds, even in migration. It can be a beautiful thing. And we have worked since CASE has worked since the 1980s with various creek cleanups. You're going to hear more about the organization that does it now, but the neighbors still participate. In the event that occurred, I want to give a thank you to the people who were immediately notified at 12:15 on the 28th, Saturday. I received a message from a neighbor who lives directly on the creek to say that there was something in the creek. And what do? I immediately sent an urgent emergency email to Public Works. And fortunately, so I call out Don Anderson for responding to that. But I also want to thank Kathy Brooks, who happened to be serving my table at DK Diner when my hair went on fire because my neighbor had sent me pictures. And I said, I'm emailing Don, and she's trying to tell me what the direction is. And I said, I know his address. And she said, I'll call, make sure. So she called Don Anderson, and she called the other person I want to call out for great thanks, which is Mr. Mitchell, Sean Mitchell. They immediately went, traced the source back. I had also done that, plus sent them pictures, let them know that it was at DK Diner, so we knew it was further back. What we had then, that the company Atmos is denying, is we had a fish kill. An American river eel, which my neighbors had made me aware that was new in our creek, and it is a sign of a very, very healthy creek. It died, and all of its family. And the fish died that I had checked on the Sunday before to make sure they had made it through the cold. So what I am saying is that this is not a small thing. This creek that we have tended and tried to bring back to life from the drainage pit that it was for a long time is not a small thing. So I call out those folks to be thanked by you. And I ask in the future, I would ask that the emergency manager that always used to be the borough manager, who was the emergency manager, I don't know whether it still is. Do you know? No. Who is it? Okay, fine. But someone needs to be the emergency manager or director. We have always, in my memory, had one, and it is appointed by council and signed off by council. That's important because we got no notification until the following day. And it was important that pets and children stayed away from that creek. We have kids who fish there. So I am asking, we need Ready Chesco to do that and immediately notify somebody when there is even a suspected issue. Thank you.
I use it on the stove. So keep me.
Courtney Finneran, 501 South Maryland Ave, and I am also a board member of the Goose Creek Alliance, and I want to echo Ann's comments and share my public gratitude for Sean and Don for being first responders, really, and Kathy as well. It was an amazing activation from a community level that knew who to reach out to, and then they knew who to reach out to. And so we're really lucky to have that network, but I think that's a great idea. And I would say that CRC Watersheds is someone who is interested in such a formalized communication outreach for residents adjacent to a stream in the event that there's another unfortunate pollution event. So I wanted to say thank you. And then I'm also here to discuss the creek cleanup, which we are rebranding a streamside litter cleanup due to the unknown toxicity and the current status to stay out of the creek and stay out of the water. We see Goose Creek Alliance and the Chester Ridley Crum Watershed Alliance or Watershed Organization want to continue the planned event, but just pivot a little. And so I want to make sure that you guys are okay with that. And it'll be basically the same as usual, but we will not have waiters and we will not go in the creek, but we will spend our time focused on the stream bank edge, which is frankly equally as in need of a cleanup. And then, I would just like to say that you're all welcome to join us. I've seen several of you at these before, and one animal you forgot to mention was the snake that lives in the creek, and it is really unfortunate that we've had a fish and a wildlife incident, but they'll be back. We know it, and we can benefit together. So I guess I'm here to ask if everyone is okay with that pivoting of the plan. Okay, great. Thanks.
To your point and the residents' point, the discharge into the creek, everyone knows pretty much what happened. And it was widely covered because it's such a catastrophe by all the TV channels and by the local press. And even our new newspaper, The Chronicle, run by Kyle Hudson, has done an excellent article on it. And he's even doing some investigative work trying to get to the bottom of the story. This is not the first time the creek has been damaged. As you know, during my report, you'll hear that I'm doing some studies on John O'Green and the contaminated areas in the borough. And it was a normal practice back in the 1900s to dump into the creek. As Ms. Carroll mentioned, it used to be the sewer line for that end of town. So, but having the American eel in there, and I have a picture of the American eel because I was over there looking at it, it was a shame. I did get goosebumps when I looked in there. I thought it was a snake until I realized it was an eel. But thank you for bringing it to our attention. To your point, Ms. Carroll, Mr. Metric is working on a notification program for the residents as well as Borough Council and staff moving forward. So this has kind of prompted us to take some action into it. So, okay, thank you. Mr. Metrick, please.
I think we're really fortunate that people know each other in the town, and fortunate too that Don Anderson has no life and looks at his phone on Saturdays at 11 in the morning on his Facebook page and saw some of these reports coming in through social media. But I'd be remiss if I didn't take this opportunity just to say publicly and to anybody listening that the quickest way to get things reported and get in the hands of the people that can respond is to dial 911. Your dispatch team here will get the call and they route non-law enforcement emergent conditions to the exact people who need to get that information. It happens really quickly. A police officer can respond to the site and affirm what has been reported. And that's the quickest way to get anything in the hands of the people that can do something about it when we have conditions like this. So don't be afraid to dial 911, please, when anything like this comes up. We're fortunate that it came up and people knew each other and liked to eat at the same places. And like I said, Don doesn't have a life. But we were fortunate to get people out there. And I was just really impressed with how quickly, Don, you and Sean were able to find the source of the pollutant. And that's just a testament to how quickly you and Varday also responded as well. So that was a name I didn't hear tonight, but Varday deserves some recognition too.
Thank you, Mr. Metrick. Anyone else have anything to share about anything that's not on the agenda? All right, thank you. Let's move on to the engineer's report.
Thank you, Councilman Flynn. This is Kelly Goff with Remington and Vernick Engineers for the record. I'm going to report on a few items tonight. Under the Gay Street closure, I'll provide a brief update. Work beyond the curb has commenced and will continue for the next month. There will be partial lane closures will be intermittent. Under the High and Linden permit, a no turn on red permit was approved. This was a requirement in order to install the bus shelter at this intersection. For the Gay and High Street intersection improvements project, we did take roadway cores in February. We were able to confirm that the subbase was of poor quality. It was basically like permasand mixed with like cement and uncured concrete. It actually was starting to like harden because when you do the cores, you add water. So it was started to harden as we were actually taking those cores. And then the Public Works Director did confirm that the utility infrastructure under the roadway was in good condition. So our next step would be to do full depth reconstruction of that intersection so that you no longer have that wavy feeling when you're driving and walking through that intersection. And then last but not least, I figured I'd report on this one as well because we've been talking about Goose Creek. Under your MS4 permit, the borough is required to perform outfall inspections once per every 5-year permit term, in addition to ones that they've seen illicit discharges in the past. They have to perform every year. So we have to wait at least 72 hours after a rain event or snow melt in order to do those outfall inspections and sampling. So we're going to start doing them soon as long as the weather continues to cooperate. And that concludes my report unless you guys have any questions.
Members?
I do. Regarding the Gay Street closure, looks like it's going to be completed by August 2026. I guess this is a question for you, Kelly, and you, Mr. Metrick. And as part of Gay Street and the Gay and High improvements, are we going to be looking at other intersections as well as a complete redo of Gay Street, including crosswalks? And if so, is that something that we should be looking at now to apply for grant permits for in the future?
I have noticed that there's other intersections. Gay and High seems to be the worst, just looking at it visually. So I can talk with staff about getting some grant applications to make improvements to the other intersections as well.
I think that would probably be, I mean, there's Darlington and Gay, that intersection, Church and Gay, you know, a lot of those places, as well as the crosswalks are sinking in certain areas too.
Thank you. Ms. Kearns?
How did we end up with the poor sub-base? How was it put down improperly, or that you took the core samples? Or is it just normal degradation?
While I wasn't there when it was installed,
would've
my usually you see concrete underneath, hardened concrete, and so 5 of the 6 cores had that terrible quality subbase. One of the cores in the middle, in the crown of the road, and you can see that in the middle of the intersection, it doesn't have that rutting, those depressions. That actually did have the concrete. So they were probably installed incorrectly or had used poor materials.
Was that contractor, do we know, or? Yeah.
We do know who the contractor is for that.
Yeah, unfortunately, that was a very good learning experience for the borough. The contractor doesn't work here anymore. And I was standing there when it was done. They basically used grind up stones and fill and packed it and then laid the individual bricks. And then over time, the trucks and everything else just squash it. So
I take it we documented that because I know for future bidding processes, a lot of times we have to take the low bidder unless we have documentation of poor past performance.
that's a story for another time for you. Because that was a 6 to 8 month problem that we had to correct over a few $1 million that we didn't know we owed. So, but I'll go over that with you. It's the legacy coming up. Have we decided, Mr. Groff, on the type of crosswalk materials we're going to use? Would that be stamped concrete or stamped asphalt?
Yes, it would be the stamped asphalt, I believe we're moving forward with. Yep.
Great. You guys have any problem with that? I tell you, if
Not
you
at all.
want to see what it looks like, it's over in front of the courthouse and it's been down at least 4 years. And the only thing that's gone wrong with it is wear. So stain only lasts so long because they don't really color the concrete, I mean, the asphalt. They can't color the asphalt to that color.
I believe that was done last August.
That long, really?
Yeah, in front of the new
Crosswalk.
courthouse
Yeah.
and in between the garage.
Yeah, yeah.
On West Market Street.
That's
That was done,
stamped asphalt.
yeah, that was done in August and looks great.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yep, it's typically the color is the maintenance item like you just brought up. But other than that, it'll last as long as a regular road.
As long as the foundation holds it,
Yes,
because the foundation cracks, the asphalt will crack as well.
yes.
The outfall, I'm sure Goose Creek wants to know about this. The outfall, where are you actually going to start testing to see how far down the contamination is going?
Are you talking about the one that the residents were just talking about?
Yeah, because we had to spill.
I think that's in Public Works Department now, but I'll certainly talk to him about it if he needs our assistance.
Mentioned just earlier that we have to start doing testing after we have it.
Yes, so as part of the, let me explain further. As part of the MS4 permit requirements, the borough has to inspect all of their outfalls at least once for every permit term. And then if there's a listed discharge coming out of that outfall when we inspect it, we're supposed to collect it and test it. So that is related but unrelated to the discharge that just we were just talking about.
What are we actually going to do? So Courtney and the people live along
Right.
know what we're doing.
So for that particular one, I mean, you would do an investigation in order to determine where the source is. And then you would issue a notice of violation if you're able to determine the source. And then you report all of that investigation and notice of violation to PADEP. And if the source is not cooperative, then you can escalate it to PADEP and then they'll get involved to help support the borough.
Thank you very much.
You're
Does
welcome.
anybody in the audience have a question? Courtney, come on up. Come on, state your name
Yep.
and address again.
Courtney Finneran, 501 South Maryland. So you're not going to be, you're doing dry weather inspections. So that is something that every township must do under their stormwater permit once every 5 years. Every single outfall that the township owns must be inspected when it's dry. If there's a trickle coming out of anything when it's hasn't rained in 3 days, that's a problem. And then the township is and the borough are required to take samples and do all of the investigation. So hopefully we don't have any hopefully we won't have any illicit discharges. And this is where West Goshen may be needing to do some additional outfall inspections. They have a private, that outfall that polluted the creek was a private outfall. It wasn't a public outfall. So just wanted to clarify that for people.
Hopefully you're visiting West Goshen as well.
Yeah.
Thank you. We appreciate it. It's tough being downstream sometimes. Thank you, Kelly. Appreciate it. Public Works. Mr.
Can I ask
Oh,
one?
go ahead.
Sorry.
Bye.
Tertiary, Nicole Shimoni, Borough Council Ward 4. Just quick question on the stamping of the cross section in town. Is that something that we can also use on some of our sidewalk projects for the future?
Yes, well, Kelly, you can answer it. Good. Yeah, but yes, you can. But it won't look as authentic as the red bricks that we have now. It'll just look more monolithic as a paved concrete walk. And the problem with sidewalks is that the homeowners and the businesses and the landlords own the sidewalks. So you know, we'd have to get Will Williams would have to get a massive grant to do downtown like they did when Mr. Tom Comita did the revitalization of downtown. So, but yeah, to your answer, it can be done. Yeah. And look very nice. So to your point, yes.
Thanks.
Thank you. Mr. Anderson, thank you.
See if I can get this right this time. Good evening, Don Anderson, Interim Director, Public Works. Here's a few items I want to share. Westchester Library is having an issue with their elevator. We've actually, they are delayed, they have a relay board that's damaged. We've sent it out. It should be back in another week or so, and then it'll be up and running again. Last week, we took a trip down to East Bradford Township to look at their facility, just to see exactly what they have over there, because we're looking at, trying to get a new public works building. They actually have a nice layout. So we're going to continue doing that throughout this year, I imagine, and then come up with a game plan as to what we need for public works. As far as the core sampling is concerned, I did take a couple of pictures while I was up there. Jeff, can you scroll down some so you can give them a good idea of exactly what's going on? All right. That's the machine that they actually use to do the core sampling. Can you scroll up again, Jeff, to the next one down I meant? This is what it looked like. One more down, Jeff. And this is what the hole looked. This is the material that was underneath of that crosswalk right there. As you can see, it's all over the place. It kind of looks like it just failed totally. And I remember when this first happened back in when they first installed it back in 2020, I think it was. The road wasn't even ours at that time. It was a PennDOT road. PennDOT okayed basically what we have here, and now we're fixing it now. So anyway, thanks, Jeff. As far as trash and recycling, you want to discuss this now, or you want to discuss this?
It's on the agenda.
It's on the agenda?
62. Thank you.
Okay. And then I just have the cartograph reports that are up here. Jeff, you can scroll down. We got our work orders and also our requests. That's all I have, not unless you guys have any questions.
Mr. Anderson, now that the weather is starting to break, we're starting to see a lot of damaged road work. What's the ETA as far as going out to bid for paving, and when do you anticipate that to happen?
Well, we already have, let me back up here. What we did 2 years ago, we put together a plan for the next 4 years of roads that actually needed to be resurfaced. But with the weather the way it was, we got to get back out there to see exactly if there's other roads that need damage and may need to be pulled up to the forefront. So we'll be out there looking around to see what needs to be done and come up with a game plan. But as of right now, we don't have anything in place right now, other than what we have in the system of cartograph, what we put in there a couple of years ago.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Is that it?
So remind me when the contractors come in and they tear up say New Street. And if you've been to New in Washington,
New in Washington.
West Washington
Okay.
lately, it's got deep holes and I mean, it's a mess. I ride my bicycle over it and I have to be really careful or take out a tire. Who is responsible for fixing that? We didn't tear it up.
Yeah.
They tore it up now. And of course, they tore up all along the side of the road and they haven't brought it back to the condition it was in before they started. So how does that work?
Well, it depends. If it's like, if they're installing like some type of force main or a gas main or some type of service, Pico or Aqua are responsible for repairing that. And how they normally do it, they actually replace whatever's the infrastructure, and then they come back after a certain amount of time, cut back the patch that's actually in the road, and then they later on come back to pave it. So if it's anything with Pico and Aqua, they'll handle that. Some certain things we just don't see, and we'll end up having to take care of ourselves. But that's normally how it takes place.
It's all over town right now.
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
how long do we wait before we say, what's the deal? It's
Well,
been
they already
months.
started. They already started in the Southwest. They started their cutbacks and stuff in Bryant's area, and they're going to continue doing that. And that's how it just normally happens. It takes a little bit of time. And here's the thing that we also have to realize. When they actually do a trench, it has to sit there for a certain amount of time so it settles, and then they come back in. It's a whole process. But we do know all the locations that these contractors are at, and we'll hold them accountable to fix the roads. So.
We like 6 months after they.
No, I wouldn't say 6 months. I'd say within the next 3 months. Okay.
Okay, thanks, Don.
Okay.
And Ms. Curran's point, at that intersection right there at Washington and New,
Okay.
I think it's New, right? A plumber did a repair or somebody did a repair on the east side,
Okay.
Darlington, on the east side.
Okay.
And it's about 1.5 feet deep.
Okay.
So and Pico or Aqua didn't do that. You can tell because they're on the opposite side of the street.
Okay.
Somebody did a repair and it's failing.
Okay. Well, what I can do is go back and look at the address
Yeah,
and determine who actually was the one who caused the problem
yeah.
and contact them and tell them they need to get out there and
Yeah.
repair it.
Yeah, drive it and you
Yeah.
slow because you'll lose your rim.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
you'll
Well,
lose your rim.
I know Pico was working in that intersection as well. And they had a couple dips in the road and they came back out and repaired them.
Yeah,
So
this one here is still there.
It's still there?
Almost 1.5 feet. Yeah,
I'll take a look.
on the
at it.
right hand side. Yeah.
I got it.
Thank you.
Yep. Thanks.
Anyone from any residents have anything? Right. Wastewater?
Good evening, Sean Mitchell, wastewater director. February was an interesting month for us. We had a tough time with the winter. We replaced some PVC pipes. Both plants cleared all the driveways, sidewalks, tanks, and the 4 pump stations and 2 plants of a ton of snow. Not as much as Public Works, but it was still enough. The Headworks building, we had all of our old pipe and hangers replaced with stainless steel. That's our most corrosive building. So usually that gets replaced every 8 to 10 years. During February, Goose Creek was out of compliance for ammonia for 8 days. We believe it was due to the weather and partial shutdown from one of our tanks. We immediately contacted a Maryland Biochemical and purchased some dehydrated bugs. We throw the bags into the tanks. They start rejuvenating and get back going. We were so behind that we actually contacted Concord Township and had trucks of their mixed liquor brought up to what we call reseed. So we'll take their bugs, put it into our tanks, and restart our plant. We had 8 to 10 trucks brought up for 48 to 60,000 gallons. The plant is back in compliance for ammonia. We did contact DEP. We sent them reports. They're fine with it. We're not the only plant in the area to have the problem. So that's all taken care of now. Goose Creek flowed 911,000 gallons as an average per day. Taylor Run, they cleaned their tertiary systems. They rebuilt a Borger sludge pump. Coming up Thursday, we will have 2 bids that are open, that will be open at 10 o'clock, one for soda ash and one for aluminum hydroxide sulfate. Due to ad restrictions, we weren't able to have it for tonight, so it'll be at the work session. I was going to plan on opening it up and doing it, but Don Anderson's going to do it for me because I will not be there. I have another engagement for the trooper that lost his life the other night. The pump stations, we had our monthly inspections and cleanings. College Avenue had another sanitary sewer overflow. It actually happened the day of the Milky White discharge into Goose Creek. What we found was the way that the influent pipe is coming in, it is affecting the floats. In talking with West Goshen's sewer manager at the illicit discharge in Goose Creek, he gave us a new system that will operate the pumps in the station. It is ordered. It's on its way. It will be installed as soon as it arrives. They love it. They're turning all of their pump stations over to that type of activation system for all theirs. So that's on the way. Capital projects, the electrical substation medium voltage switch was delivered on March 3rd. There was a very minor defective part discovered by our contractor. One rod was laying on the floor of the truck underneath it. The company is sending out a repair person. It should be fixed, I believe, this week or next week. The work is scheduled to be starting hopefully by the middle of March. The contractor was out yesterday. We did have a work change order emergency repair. The contractor called me and said, you need to come up here. The transformer that was installed in 2020, he said, do you hear that crackling? I said, yeah. He's like, that is not good. Jeff, can you put those pictures up? What he found was in the right side, moisture was getting in and corroded the wires. They used appropriate wire, but not appropriate wire. Jeff will show it. He said, if you would have let this go, you could be looking at a minimum of 75 grand for a repair, replacement, and down that side that's part of the corrosion there. It's only 5 years old. It's there if you can go to the next page. Well, right there at the top, the insulators. He said if that would have arced, it would have arced. There's 3 of them that to take them out, if they're not destroyed, to send them out to Utah to get clean, repaired, and everything else, it would have been a huge. That is the wire that they actually found going through. If you bend it, it's actually corroded. And he said that was an any minute disaster waiting to happen. Yeah. The final picture is the new insulated shielded wire that they installed that day. They were in and out in 5 hours. It is fixed. I did notify Sean that I authorized they're guessing between $4,000 and $5,000 for the repair. But he said it would have been a catastrophic failure if it wasn't. So that was part of that. That's where we're going. Everything else is on track to go with the substation. Maple Alley project. The first phase bids are out. The water quality management permit is submitted to DEP. There's a non-mandatory bid meeting here at Borough Hall on Tuesday, March 17th. College Avenue and New Street pump stations, backup pumps are ordered with a June, July delivery. The sluice gate was ordered. The 50% check is in. And with assistance of the IT department, a couple new access systems were installed by our employees in our main building. If it works well, the borough can roll it out through other buildings. It's you can access it by phones or cards, just like the regular things. It's cheaper from what we were told. We're just the guinea pigs for how it works, so we have it on a couple doors to try it. And then the Taylor Run driveway replacement is still Q2, Q3.
Members? Anything? The Maple Alley, most important alley in the borough. When are we going to start notifying the students that we're going to start tearing that alley apart? When they leave, well, are we going to notify them before they leave to go on spring break or, summer break or what?
We are waiting to hear any comments from DEP about the permit. We are not anticipating any delays or anything like that. We're hoping to have any word out. We're going to, with the bid, we're expecting a bid. We're closing the bid at the end of March. We're looking for an April award. If everything goes right, that's when we're going to say game on, and the notes will be delivered to each mailbox that we previously did.
Thank you.
Well, I should say we're going to hit phase one.
Right.
So from Linden to Lacey, all of that will be contacted because that's all we're doing this year.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any residents have any questions for Sean? Seeing none, let's move to Parks and Rec. Mr. Korowski.
Good evening. Keith Krosky, Director of Parks and Rec. I want to start with capital projects we have in the mix. First and foremost, Horace Pippin. I just met with our designer. We did a walk through the park. The equipment is up and ready to go. We're just waiting to backfill with the stone, the geofabric, which is the weed screen, and then the EWF, which we have about 110, 120 cubic yards at our dump site. So when Public Works can get that into their schedule and we have weather for a day or two to get that moved, that project will be complete and off of our list of things to do. John O'Green, we've been working on this project since late summer of last year. You're going to be speaking about some things later, and the letters DEP have been thrown around quite a bit lately, especially at this meeting this evening. We were trying to work around the covenant with a modified footer that would fit the new play or water play features. After a meeting again today at John O'Green, we decided that that probably wasn't the best case, and we do have to open up that can of worms. Now, you're talking 7 footers for small play or water play features, about a foot square each, but we still have to notify DEP. Our engineers from Pannoni are working on that. Again, that's no cheap task. That's about a $5,000 to $6,000 endeavor just to get that clearance to go ahead and do that. But the parts are being ordered for the equipment so we can move forward with the project as long as DEP signs off on the information that'll be sent to them from our engineers. With that being said, when we get the new water play features in there, it'll be a significant upgrade from what we currently have. I think I've mentioned to you both, or to this group and to all of council before, we will be applying to 2 different grants for the rest of phase 2, which is the North Side Park, everything besides the splash pad, to both DCD and DCNR. DCD grant is due by the end of May and DCNR is due by the end of April. Also, with what we're looking at, and it's part of the report, is the Hoops Park playground renovations and expansion. As you may or may not know, I should say, there are a significant number of trees that have to come out there that have been condemned. So I'm actually meeting with the tree commission and our arborist tomorrow on site to make sure that I'm fully aware of which trees need to come out so we can plan our layout of the new playground a little bit more efficiently. One thing, again, I can't state this enough. We want this playground to be an inclusive playground, and that takes ADA up a level. This will be a destination playground. We want people to be able to come to this with all children of all abilities, adults of all and any abilities, to be able to use this as freely and as fun as anyone with any abilities. Again, grants will be applied for to help offset the cost, and we're working with a company out of St. Louis called Inclusive Play to help us with some of the funding for that. Another topic, there's no topics on the getting to some of the events. Again, we're running our normal scale of events throughout the summer, but the one I want to really touch on is the USA 250 or America 250 event that's going to be placed in early August. That is being organized by the Westchester Area Council of Governments. That is 7 different municipalities in and around the borough. We have been asked to host the event because we are central and we are the seat of Chester County, but all 7 of the municipalities be working together equally. We meet every 2 weeks. We have been for about the last 2 months in planning this event. And one little note of we applied for a grant, I should say, I applied for a grant on behalf of the subcommittee, and we were awarded a $5,000 grant and a $2,500 grant to help support our endeavors for that day. The police are already aware of this. This committee and all of Borough Council approved the event in its concept at last month's meetings. And I will have more information presenting to you as this event becomes more and more clear to us throughout the planning stages. The PROS plan. Now that the PROS plan has been adopted, we are, and again, we've already been kind of doing some back channel work on some of these things, but I mentioned in my report a couple of the ideas that are starting to take some legs and see some life. One of those is that we're going to be applying for a TCDI grant through the Delaware Valley Planning Commission, or DVRPC. This grant is a feasibility grant to see if we put in a trail, a rails with trails, a trail along the SEPTA line. And we've already spoken to SEPTA. We've already spoke to the Chester County Planning Commission. We're speaking to the Delaware Valley Planning Commission, what this would look like, what it would cost. And the cool thing about it is there's no actual transactions from the borough. There's no money up front from the borough. There's no match. So if we're awarded this, it's a 100%, here's your money. We're going to help you run this study. We're going to help you make sure that it's done to the best that we can and see if this is actually a feasibility. But this will be crossing over. It starts here in the borough or with the Turk's Head Trail within the borough, but literally it's about a 9-mile trail that goes all the way down to Wawa along the SEPTA line. I'll be going through 2 different counties and it's like 6 different municipalities. It is a significant lift and it will be a lengthy project, but it'll let us know that, hey, again, we still want the trail here in the borough regardless, but we also want to be forward thinking to think, okay, where can this go in the future? And what other points of interest can we tie into? And what other regional trails can we be a part of that makes this a viable entity? So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Colleagues?
Real quick on the Turk's Head Trail feasibility study.
Yes.
Will the borough be leading that?
We are leading that. Now, there is another group, it's an advocacy group, they're basically called like the Turk's Head Trail Committee, if you will. They've been very helpful. They've done a lot of the grassroots work and getting the information out to our surrounding municipalities. But we've been working with them pretty much hand in hand, but it has to be a municipality or a borough entity that submits for the grant.
Do we know how much? It looks like the minimum grant is 100,000.
100K. We are estimating about 150 is what we're looking at for our feasibility study. And again, there is no match from the borough.
Residents, anybody want to share anything? Mr. Kraus, I want to point you to the covenant that you, and I'm sure you're well aware of it. It was executed on 10/24/13.
Yep.
Okay. And the covenant basically says number 7.
Yep. 2 feet.
Number 7 is very important. By the end of every January, following the department's approval, we're supposed to notify the DEP or EPA every year. Have we been doing that?
That's not been my task.
Okay. All right. So that's not important today. The reason I found that is because I'm doing my
On all the
deep
brownfield.
dive on John O'Green. So we'll talk about that. It's something down the road. Okay.
Yeah. The main covenant that we've been following in my tenure as the director is we have a 2-foot line below grade. We
That's what it
cannot
says
go,
in the covenant,
we
yeah.
cannot go below 2 feet. If we go below, we can go below 2 feet, but if we do, DEP has to be involved. So we've stayed above that frost line, that 24-inch line with everything we've done, which is why we were trying to look at a different footer system for the play features to not circumvent that, but to work with it and not break the rules. And unfortunately, it's just not viable.
True to your point, when the last public works director was here, I was struggling trying to get a portable toilet on the site, which would have been a trailer.
I remember.
And when you read the covenant, you can't put a trailer. So it's amazing what you learn if you just, if you get involved in the nuts and bolts. There's
Indeed.
a lot of covenant information in this thing for another time.
You got it.
Thank you. Thank you
Certainly.
very much. All right. Public Works Committee Chair Report. Remember, we don't have any brownfields in the borough. And the 2 projects that I'm working on are new Public Works building and looking at the different properties that we have EPA, DEP covenants on. Starting with John O'Green Park. We paid $1, just to give you some breadcrumbs. We paid $1 for that parcel when Holly Brown was president of Borough Council, which was a few years ago. Starting in 1897, and I'm up to 1926 in my research, thanks to Dr. Jim Jones at the university, Westchester University. I didn't know how you made gas. So of course I had to take a course on how do you make gas. So it's basically coal. So because of the two trains came in that area was basically a coal depot area, and there were coal yards everywhere. So Philadelphia Electric Company got a parcel of land, which is John O'Green, and started manufacturing gas. And the gas was used to put lights in the borough and in people's homes. So as Paul Harvey says, stay tuned for the rest of the story. So, but John O'Green has a covenant, pretty, as Mr. Kurowski said, it's pretty detailed. So we'll be letting you know what's going on with that. Council members? All right. Let's see. How about the February minutes? Any issues? 2-0? It's 3-0, excuse me, 3-0, because you were here for them at the meeting. Motion to direct the solicitor to prepare an amendment for ordinance 104-32. That's letter B. I think we're tabling that item because we're going to add other parking streets to be street clean. Correct, Ms. Ramsey? So we're tabling B under old business. C, the reason why we're tabling is because we want to add more streets to be cleaned. And it costs a lot of money to bring the solicitor in. C, Downtown Westchester and Westchester Borough Partnership for Tree Wells, planning proposal. The proposals for new tree wells in the business district funded by the bid. So the bid has expanded their footprint. And in order to do it, I'm going to use the word green and go, is that they want to start putting more tree wells on High Street and a couple other areas. And the bid's actually going to pay for the having the tree wells cut in. I thought I saw Mr. O'Brien is, Chip, you want to come on up? I'm sure I'm forgetting some things. This is a beautification and what do they call it? Deoxide, the area.
Yeah.
Put some.
So there are 9 on High Street and 3 on Market. The work's gonna be done by All Seasons Landscaping, which is our contractor that plants the trees. They did that last year and this year as well. So the price I think is really good. It's $260 per well, $3,120 in total. So the bid is going to pay for that. The borough will contribute the trees, obviously, to plant. And this will all be done probably in the April timeframe.
To cut many of the areas, we have to cut the holes in take the bricks out to put hopefully a geosystem in there so the trees will survive. And then, the bid's going to take care of it, trying to beautify the corridor.
Yeah.
So, Mr. McGinnis, Ms. Kearns, any objection?
No.
Any residents? Seeing none, that's a 3-0. Thank you. D, discuss enforcement of Chapter 62 garbage, rubbish, and refuge for tote quantities. Discuss the amendments to the ordinance. I'll set the table up and then Mr. Anderson can come up and help us. Council worked on Chapter 62 for a year and a half, trying to define what we need to do as far as trash, the size of the trash cans, the setbacks, and how many totes that you're allowed to have, because there's no real number of totes you're allowed to have. So the way the ordinance is written and the way the ordinance is approved already is you get 4 96-gallon totes. When you hit the 5th one, you have to go get a dumpster. What council didn't do was we didn't take in consideration recycling. So what we did was we had the Public Works director who's in charge of that that ordinance. They went out and they checked 70 properties. And what they found was that by counting the number of recycling totes that they have and trash can totes, it comes back to for every 2 trash cans, you get 1 recycling. And it worked out to a very nice number for the landlords and the residents in that area. So, Mr. Anderson.
Yeah, we basically checked 70 properties, and out of the 70 properties, I think there was 3 that wouldn't meet the needs of the new ordinance if that's what we decide to put in place. So to me, it sounds like it's a success. Prior to that, we did the exact same thing. There was a few residents that actually already started getting themselves in compliance from when we first implemented this. So things change, but for the most part, I can actually say the way this new ordinance is going to be written, it will work for the majority of the residents in the borough of Westchester. Like I said, out of 70, there was maybe 3, and I do believe we went to every household. We might have missed 1 or 2, but I think it will work.
So, council members, what we're hoping to do now is, with your permission, ask the solicitor to come up with an amendment to Chapter 62. And I think Mr. Metric, we have to have another public hearing for that. Yeah, we have to have another public hearing for that to amend it. So the way it works out is the landlords or the people that use large totes can have as many pickups as they want during the week. But 4 totes, you need a dumpster. And then for every 2 96-gallon trash cans, you can have 1 recycling can.
Correct, 96-gallon tote.
Right, so, all right. So,
How does that affect the restaurants that get trash pickup and recycling? Because some of them do, some of them don't. They go through private.
this is all private hauling.
Okay.
This
It's not borough hauling. This is all private.
This is all private hauling.
Okay,
Yeah,
perfect.
yeah. And it's up to them to make sure they keep the area pretty clean, so we don't have hairy friends running around, stuff like that. They do a pretty good job. So, members, you okay with asking the solicitor?
Yes.
Mr. Metric, it's a 3-0 to send that on to Ms. Camp to draw something up. Yes. Ms. Simone, President?
Thank you. Thank you, Vice President. Would it be then 2 recycling totes for every dumpster? Does that need to go in there too?
Yes. Yep. And they can pick up as many times as they want.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, because basically that's what they're doing now. It's just, we never defined it. Like, when this ordinance was written, no, totes weren't invented yet. So all right, everybody's laughing. Now you're showing how old you are. So we had to define what a tote was before we could even move forward. That's why it took so long revisit this ordinance. So for every 2 trash cans, you get 1 recycling can. So, all right, thank you very much. Mr. Mooney, anything else? Okay, thank you. Dana, you got that? Thank you. All right. Boom. Discuss the progress of new public works building. Mr. Metric, you want to help us with the field trip you guys took?
Took a field trip to East Bradford Township, and I almost couldn't get Don Anderson out of the garage because he saw 8 plows that he just loved so much. They were brand new. They looked brand new, but some of the vehicles that they had been in service for 12 years that they were getting ready to sell looked pretty good. So it was a good lesson for somebody like me who doesn't know anything about how to maintain 5-ton trucks and things that sit out in the weather, like how important it is to have things undercover, not only undercover, but in an area where they had radiant heat. Not only does the equipment last longer, but I imagine, Don, it's probably a lot easier to manage during nighttime and snow events when you have to put things on and off of vehicles. Yeah, well, and there were some very interesting pieces of equipment that Don was looking around for the keys for, because I think he was going to try and drive it back here.
I was just going to borrow it. No, actually, the importance of having your equipment stored inside, it saves you so much money in the long run. I mean, we have new equipment that we've purchased in recent years that's now already rusted because it stays outside. It's exposed to the elements. Not to mention during snowstorms and stuff like that, when you're hooking up plows and spreaders and things like that, you're normally laying on the ground trying to get this thing together. When you're inside, and you can get out there and do what you need to do. So it's important to really consider another building or looking at a building.
It's a beautiful building.
Yes.
And if you drive up to it, it's right over by the elementary school, right?
Mhm.
And it looks like a barn, a red and white barn.
Mhm.
And they made it fit into the neighborhood.
Mhm.
And is the floor peeling by any chance?
You put something down.
Hopefully not.
Nice try. No, I didn't see the floor
Okay,
pin.
that's very good. Because the floor is heated, so it wasn't supposed to peel. So that's
Okay.
good.
All right.
Also a fully contained wash facility.
Yep.
So the vehicles are brought in, washed, they get the salt and everything, dirt all off the cars, and it has a closed loop water system as well. So it basically is managing its own industrial discharge. So I was really impressed by what I saw, and we're going to follow up with as-built plans. The thing was built in 2017.
Mhm.
We need to talk to their engineer who was around for then. The Public Works Director at that time was not part of the rebuild. Get some specifications, also see what they have in their fleet. Now, keep in mind, East Bradford's a little bit different, right? They have 40 miles of road.
Mhm.
And most townships are going to be taking care of more road miles than us, than we do. So our needs are going to be a little bit different, but I just was really happy with what we were able to learn in such a short amount of time. And thanks to the director and the township manager, Ms. Cantlin, for making that happen, and Dana for setting it up.
Yeah, the building itself is amazing. So, and if anybody, they're very open to the public. So if you drive by, they'll give you a tour. It's very nice. So,
Yeah, they really have a nice facility.
Yeah.
So, is that it?
thank you, Mr.
Good?
Anderson. Let's see. New business.
No,
Oh.
I mean, I do.
You have something to ask?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, my goodness.
So with the discussion, we've been talking about this for almost a year now. What's going to be like the next step? Like, are we looking at having one of our engineers look to write a grant to do a feasibility study, go after RICP grants, from our elected officials? What do we anticipate? What's the timeline? Where we go?
All of those things are going to happen. What I'm trying to organize now is the sequence and the timing of when to start those things. But the deliverable by the third quarter of this year will be a feasibility study that we put out to bid. We'll get proposals. We'll put in next year's budget to execute the feasibility study, which will test sites, what we do if we relocate to a different site, what we do with our existing site. That has to be solved. If we use our existing site, what happens while we're doing the construction? Do we have a temporary site where we operate out of in the meantime? All those will be evaluated, a dollar sign will be put on it, and we will start the process of securing grant funding through RACP. And we also became aware of another potential appropriation funding through Senator Committee's office. And Senator, it's actually not Pennsylvania State, it's actually Senator Fetterman, but it was Senator Comita who told us about possibilities with Pennsylvania's senator, one of Pennsylvania's two senators, federal senators.
Well, and that is the case. That's good news. But who is going to be in charge of writing those grants for the feasibility studies? Would it be our engineers? Would it be Will? Who?
It's a combination of things, but I think that Will is very good at assembling information, getting things done, writing narratives, and getting things submitted on time. I don't expect Will, we don't have the expertise on staff, Will or otherwise, to write specifications for those things. So we will need to reach out to our engineering partners to write the feasibility study. So it's a mixture of.
I mean, I'm just looking at our engineer right here. So but yeah, I think he's ready to go.
He's ready.
Mr. Matthew, we did spend some money, had Mr. Cherry from Alliance Architectural. Didn't he just do a relook at the plan that we had, a refresh?
It was very helpful, and I really appreciated his work. He's with Architectural Concepts, which is a great architectural firm in Exton, I believe. He's been a career architect, and he was able to look at our plans that we had drawn up before in 2011 and 12 when we created bid documents at that time as well. That was before my time, and he gave us his best guess as to what it might cost to design, engineer, and project manage the project, and basically do all the soft costs to get us to the finish line and in a general idea of what a new facility would cost. So it was a great pro bono exercise that he did for us to give us an idea of where we might land when it comes time to do this. And I hope that if his firm has the abilities to do any part of this work, that they'll consider applying and participating in the RFP.
Questions, council? Anyone from the audience? No. Thank you very much. All right. Are you ready? Ready. I know that. New business. Motion to approve Friends of Marshall Square Park request to install a lockable, frost-proof yard hydrant adjacent to Lafayette Steps. And there's attachment up here. And the Friends are going to pay for all the costs so that they can take care of their infrastructure, correct?
Right. Jeff Bytel, president of Friends of Marshall Square Park, 228 East Biddle Street. And with me is Ann Walters. She's what should I say? Board member. That's what I was searching for. A board member and our landscape extraordinaire for the group. Yeah, we are proposing this because we've had a lot of landscaping projects that we've done over on that side of the park. And our only water source currently is all the way on the other side of the park, downhill at the restrooms. And last year, well, and almost every year during drought, it's a struggle to try to keep those plants alive. And, you know, we can only move so many buckets, 5-gallon buckets of water. So we came up with this proposal. I met out there with Aqua and Varde from Public Works initially, and everybody liked the whole concept. And we are working with Batavio Plumbing, which is, you're all pretty familiar with. He does a lot of work in the borough. And we have proposed that we're doing all the work, meter pit up to the shutoff valve. And then Aqua has, we understand Aqua is willing to do the connect free of charge for the borough. So there is absolutely no real, charge to the borough other than some coordination with staff in Public Works. And I did meet out there with 3 people from Public Works the other day just to go over final, issues. And they were happy. They said, as far as we're concerned, Public Works approves this. And so we're just here to get formal approval from you guys, just because it is your property. So.
Yeah, and thanks for getting the price from Aqua. I know that was my concern when we talked about this at the Parks and Rec meeting.
Right.
So it's not, the borough is not on the hook for that connection.
Yeah.
Perfect. And we wouldn't have to pay for the water because we're paying for the water anyway that they're hauling up from below, so.
Right, and it is lockable. So it's not like somebody can open this thing and it'll run all day long. It's just locked.
Repair to the sidewalks, we'll take care of too.
Jeff, the way that you're going to spread the water, are you going to be able to have a hose connection onto that?
Yes, it has a threaded hose connection.
Okay.
And we will use hoses to get to where we need to go because it's all on that side of the park.
Right.
So
are they going to be ground soaker hoses? Is that what you're planning on using? Or
we're not exactly sure. We may have some kind of sprinkling device that we move, depending on the watering needs. But we have a landscape contractor who does the maintenance, and they are more than willing to help us with the watering, but there's no source. So now that they have a source, I'm sure they'll be much more willing to help us with the watering so that we can not have to be replacing plants all the time.
Great. Council members, any problem?
No.
It's a 3-0 from us. Anyone from the residents? Okay.
Hey.
State your name and address, please.
Courtney Finneran, 501 South Maryland Avenue. Where is the water main? Like, is it in the street or is it in the sidewalk? Or it's in the street. So what distance from the water main to your new faucet? Like, what's the connection? It's going to go in the street and then under the.
Well, the work that we're doing, the hydrant itself, you can see, is going to be right inside the landscape bed that we have there. So we're going to take all the construction up to the curb, and then Aqua will bring their line in from, it's kind of, I think, in the center of the street. Yeah.
So Aqua will repave the street?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, whenever they dig up the street, yeah, they need to be paid.
Just making sure. It wasn't clear.
Courtney, full disclosure on it, Aqua will not repave the entire street.
Right, it'll be a patch.
It'll
Yeah.
be a patch there.
So,
Yeah.
Just the trench.
but as long as it's on the list at some point to be repaved, it seems like a great opportunity.
I just wanted to make sure Mr. McGinnis knew that they weren't going to pave the whole street over there. Oh, we have a guest appearance, people.
Dale McClure, 302 West Marshall, Ward 7. I'm not against this. I think it's a great idea. Is this a private or a public hydrant?
Excuse me?
Is this a private or a public hydrant? Private.
Well,
Okay.
anything that we do in the park, which we're paying for because
Okay.
it becomes borough
Okay.
property.
Yeah,
So
okay.
it's basically borough property.
Well, if it's public, it's rented. If it's private, you're responsible for the maintenance. So then my next question is, who's responsible for the maintenance? If you're going to say it's borough property, then the borough's responsible for the maintenance, correct? I just want to make sure that it's perfectly clear with council that they're responsible for the maintenance. And I don't want to hear any crying when you come to them and say, the hydrant's broken. You know what I'm saying? Unless the friends are going to take responsibility for maintaining it.
We have done over $500,000 worth of.
I know, and I
And-
think what
and
you've
we
done
have-
there is great.
we have,
I'm
we
just,
have been responsible for all of it.
okay, I just want to make sure that,
If
you
it
know,
becomes broken and we don't have the money to fix it, well, then it's broken.
okay. Is Aqua going to require backflow preventer?
Yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
all right, and that'll be the Friends issue to pay for that?
Everything up to the curb, we're paying for.
Okay.
You can't ask for anything more than that.
No, and I'm not, like I said, I'm not against it. I just want to make sure, there are things that get done that are, surprises after the fact.
Anytime you hook up to a public water pipe like that, you
Yeah,
have to. have-
oh, I know. Trust me, I know.
Okay, with council members, that's a 3-0, Dana. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
All right. All right. Discuss Giano Green. I basically did that during my chair's report. Any other business? Seeing none, we're adjourned, unfortunately, very late, 6:38.